Alright, so here's my first match. I can see he's clearly taller than me, lengthy. He actually has a pretty low stance that he matched me with, so I assume he's going to pull guard, so I definitely wanted to get grips first. And just getting good grips on him, I was able to see that he stayed pretty low. What I should have done is a snap down, maybe even a double collar snap down, since he was based out. Pretty much his butt was so far back compared to mine. I do a couple pulls just to test it out, and then he puts his hip on me. I do a good job of seeing that he's going to do that, but unfortunately do not finish doing a good job, and he ends up closing guard on me. I did put up a good fight, and I wish I would have done a better job at knee slicing since I did catch the guard pull. Pretty quickly I started working on having my posture and pushing into his abdomen and just kind of breaking through. Do a good little knee slice here coming up. There we go, and then he gets half guard catching my other leg. I did do a good job of kind of pinning his shoulders to the mat. Unfortunately, I lost the underhook here, and my experience is if I lose the underhook and half guard, I get rolled or swept pretty easily. So I was pretty fearful of getting swept here, losing the underhook, or him coming up for the dogfighter stance. So I did base out pretty far and just try to get his face, like essentially just smash my shoulder into his face so that I can turn him the other way. I'm just trying to pin him down, get his shoulders pinned down. He's doing a good job of grabbing my belt and having that underhook, trying to either sweep me or take my back. He's trying to take my base away from my outside leg, but I won't let him. So he stands up and I pin him back down, and I do a sweet little double overhook throw here. There you go. We kind of go off a little bit. He's still, see, I have side control. I don't have full side control. That ends up taking it. He does a pretty good job of shrimping away and keeping his hips further away from me, so I end up getting caught in half guard again. I realize here that, I should probably start doing more attacks from half guard, so I try an Ezekiel choke that I've been practicing on. I've done it on my practice dummy, and it's pretty brutal, so I was like, you know what, let me give that Ezekiel choke try here. Sometimes forget what hand is supposed to cup the wrist, and then there it is. Coming in tight, pulling, and I believe there it is. Yep. Sweet Ezekiel choke, came in clutch for my half guard movement, and overall solid little victory. It was fun. This is my second match here, definitely more of my height. Immediately when I grab grips, I see that his stance, and I know I'm gonna go for that double leg takedown, my favorite takedown to do. There you go, pull him in towards me and blast right through him, right into side control. So a nice 5 points right off the back right there. I've been working a lot on my side control scissor series, so trying to trap his arm in between my legs, using my bottom leg to kind of prop it up and using my right leg to pin it down. Definitely need to get better at it, but our brown belt at the gym does it to me. It's fantastic when he does it to me. So here, listen, my coach, he says knee on belly, so I prop up on knee on belly. Not the favorite stand or position for me, but I understand that it is good for stabilization, and it is also good 2 points. He bucked me, so I went right back into side control. Definitely didn't want to lose top position on him. Trying to pin his arm, maybe in Americana. He does a good job of grabbing his arm and bringing it over my head. So I see that he's distracted, take him out. Here he does a good lot of trapping the leg, and I do this super cool thing that's notorious for white belts, which is just use pure strength and no technique. Prop myself back. I honestly don't know how this worked. I think maybe he was a little tired and I was able to kind of bulldoze through him. Definitely not a jujitsu move, but from then on forward, I definitely stay a little more cautious, not letting him trap my legs so he can roll me again and not lose top position. I was ready to do a hip bump sweep or a scissor sweep, but I just tried a simple push him back down, and that happened to work. I do try doing an Ezekiel choke on him, but honestly, my second round, the adrenaline dump still was exhausting, and I definitely felt that my grips were not nearly as strong. He definitely bumped me, but there it is again. See, trying to use that bottom leg and that top leg to pin his arm down. Here's my attempt at using that scissor sweep. I wish I could have locked it in. That thing is awesome. I love the control that you get with that lock, headlock. But I just missed it, so I fell short, and I went straight back to controlling his arm. trying to do a Kimura on him, and I twist it and I crank it pretty good, thinking I was going to get the tap, but I did a bad job of controlling his hips, so he was able to kind of come up with me. Honestly, his arm was bent pretty gnarly and didn't tap, so let it go, and you see me here. He actually wrestles up, and I just have a good smile on my face, happy that he came up. I tried to dab him, but I think he was more exhausted or serious, so I was having a good time, definitely having fun with this one. They're yelling he's exhausted, but I'm looking at my opponent and knowing he's exhausted too. So I'll do a couple little pulls to see how his stance is and what he's doing. And honestly, I was pretty damn exhausted too. I did a lot of attempts, wasted a lot of unnecessary energy. Do some little grab ankle picks to see what he does, and not very much. Do a couple more collar ties or kind of tie downs or snap downs, sorry. And realize, like, you know what, I can just kind of stagger his stance a little bit, and I think he loses his position right here, and I'm able to just drop down on him. He looked pretty exhausted. I think his endurance was not up to par. I mean, neither was mine, but at least I got that top control. And there you go again, trapping his arm. Doing a poor job again of bringing my bottom leg so I can pin his arm down. I think here I'm going for an Americana again. And then I hear my coach tell me to mount again, so I went ahead and I mounted. And then I know in a little bit I go for the head and arm choke. And unfortunately, literally a couple days later, I end up doing the head and arm choke correctly at the gym. They taught me a couple of techniques to cinch it down tight. Prior to this, I watched a Craig Jones video, and what he looked like is he kind of tripoded and mounted his shoulder into the neck. So I gave it a try, and as you'll see in the video a little bit ahead, I keep propping up so that I can sink my shoulder into his neck, but it's just not doing what it's supposed to do. Honestly, here I should have went for the S-mounted arm bar because I had his arms propped up so high. But in competition, you kind of go to at least in my case, I kind of go to the few tricks I have in my book that I've mastered and gotten down. And here you see I got the head and arm choke. I feel like I have it sunken in deep, but he's not tapping, so I'm squeezing, not tapping. I know that it shouldn't be a squeeze, so I come back up to try to reposition my shoulder into his neck a little bit more. Still didn't get the tap, so I think I try again, propping myself up, trying to sink it in deep. I just can't do it, and the time runs out. My coach was pretty upset with me, though. As you can see, 23-0 is kind of not ideal. Wasted a lot of unnecessary energy. You can see that guy that got second place, Chase is his name. He did not tap on an arm bar and tore his bicep. So ended up having to get, essentially, I won first place because he wasn't able to compete. Though I did tell him I wouldn't go for that arm if he did go for it. I was excited to kind of go with him. He seemed more of my style of jiu-jitsu, more aggressive, so it would have been fun to know. But overall, I had a great time and definitely learned a lot. Definitely want to be able to expand my tricks that I have, even if it's just 2 or 3 more submissions per each position. But overall, I learned a lot, and it was a great experience. I'm very fortunate that I wasn't able to get first place and not be injured and have my family there to support me. It was a great time. If you guys have any questions about the video or my jiu-jitsu journey, I've been training for a little over 3 months when I did my first tournament, which is a few days ago, at least editing this video. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I do read them all. I do reply to them all. And as always, have a rad day, guys.